Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've got a ton of listener questions this week, all about AI literacy.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's buzzing about it.
It really does. So
Yeah.
we've got a bunch of really interesting material to dive into today. Our mission, to figure out what it really means to be AI literate.
Absolutely. And it's getting more and more crucial as AI just kind of sneaks into like every corner of our lives, you know?
Totally. So one of our sources defines AI literacy as, and I quote, the knowledge and skills needed for understanding, interacting with, and critically assessing artificial intelligence systems.
I mean, that sounds like we need to be fluent in AI, not just sort of aware of it,
Yeah,
right?
like AI fluency.
Exactly. It's like going past just using the tools, you know? Got to get a deeper grasp on how they tick, their impact, even where they fall short.
So where do we even start?
Well, luckily, the material you sent over, it mentions like these 5 pillars of AI literacy.
Okay, so kind of like a roadmap for this deep dive.
Perfect analogy. These pillars, they really lay the groundwork for getting AI literate. So let's kick things off with the first one, which is technical knowledge.
Okay, technical knowledge.
And this doesn't mean everyone needs to become a coder or anything,
Right.
but it does mean wrapping your head around the basics, like how do AI systems learn? How do they make decisions?
So like understanding the engine of a car. Don't need to build one yourself, but knowing how it works makes you a better driver.
Spot on. The more you get those underlying AI principles, the better you'll be at interacting with these systems and making smart choices about how you use them.
Makes sense. So pillar number 2 is practical application.
Which is, pretty much what it sounds like. It's one thing to get the theory, but can you actually use these AI tools to do stuff in the real world?
Right. Got to put it into practice.
And that's where it gets exciting. AI tools are getting easier to use all the time, meaning almost anyone can tap into that power, whether it's automating boring tasks or like finding insights and tons of data.
So it's about actually being able to use AI, not just talk about it.
Exactly.
Okay, what about the third pillar, critical thinking? What makes that so important when we're talking about AI?
Well, because AI systems, they're not perfect, right? They can make mistakes, show biases, and sometimes spit out results that are just plain wrong. Critical thinking helps us look at AI outputs with a skeptical eye. We can't just take everything at face value.
So we need to be like AI skeptics, questioning the results, thinking about potential bias, making sure what we're getting is accurate and reliable.
You got it. AI literacy gives us the power to be informed users, not just passive consumers of whatever information AI throws at us.
I like that, informed users.
And this nicely leads us to pillar number 4, ethical and social awareness.
This one feels particularly important given how AI could potentially impact, society at large.
Oh, absolutely. As AI gets more powerful, we got to think about the bigger picture. Jobs, privacy, even the potential for misuse, right? AI literacy encourages us to ask those tough questions and really engage in thoughtful conversations about how we develop and use AI ethically.
So it's about recognizing that AI isn't just some neutral technology,
Yeah.
right? It's a powerful tool, and it can be used for good or for bad.
100%. And lastly, we have pillar number 5, adaptability.
Adaptability. Why is that so crucial when it comes to AI?
Well, think about it. AI is a field that's constantly changing. Like new breakthroughs and applications are popping up all the time.
Right, it's moving so fast.
So being adaptable means being able to keep pace with that change, embracing those new tools and techniques, and always updating your understanding of AI.
So it's about having like a growth mindset when it comes to AI.
Exactly. Always learning, evolving, staying curious.
Awesome. Now let's zoom in on one specific area of AI that's been all over the news lately. Large language models, or LLMs. What exactly are they and how do they work?
So LLMs, they're a fascinating subset of AI that's really been making waves. Basically, they're these complex machine learning models that are trained on massive amounts of text data.
Okay.
And this allows them to process and generate text that, well, sounds a lot like us, like humans.
Like ChatGPT or Google's Bard, I've heard about those. But what makes these LLMs so powerful? Is it just the sheer volume of data they're trained on?
That's definitely part of it. But it's not just about quantity, it's also about the quality and diversity of that data.
Okay.
Think of it this way. An LLM that's trained on a really diverse and representative data set, it's going to be way better at understanding the nuances of language and generating more accurate and relevant output.
So it's like a chef needing a variety of ingredients to create a delicious dish. An LLM needs a diverse diet of data to really be effective.
Love that. The training data is the foundation of what an LLM can do. But there's another crucial ingredient in the LLM recipe: computing power.
Right. Training these massive models takes a lot of computational muscle. How does that factor into the equation?
Well, training an LLM involves feeding it huge amounts of data and adjusting its parameters. It's a complex process with complex algorithms,
Right.
and it requires a ton of computational power, which is where things like GPUs and TPUs come in. Those advanced hardware pieces, they make it possible.
So it's a combination of data and computing power that fuels those impressive LLM capabilities.
Exactly.
But how do these LLMs actually learn from the data they're given?
It's kind of like teaching a child to read, you know? You expose them to lots of text, they start picking up patterns, relationships between words. Eventually, they understand language and generate their own.
Okay, yeah.
LLMs, they work in a similar way, but obviously on a much, much larger scale and with way more complex algorithms.
So they're like pattern recognition machines, but supersized.
You got it.
Now, with all this talk about LLMs, it seems like there's a growing kind of division between open source and proprietary models. What's the difference there?
That's an important point. Open source models are like open recipes. Anyone can access the code, the data sets, tweak things, and even share their own versions.
Got it.
Proprietary models, on the other hand, they're more like secret recipes, tightly controlled by the companies that made them.
So open source offers more transparency and flexibility, but proprietary models, maybe they're more reliable, more user-friendly.
You nailed it. Choosing between them really depends on your needs, your resources, your tech skills. It's like deciding to build your own furniture from scratch or just buying something pre-assembled. Both have their ups and downs.
I can see that. And this brings us to a really important aspect of AI literacy, understanding the ethical dilemmas.
Right, because AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used in ways that aren't so great.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest ethical concerns is bias. We talked about how biases can sneak into AI systems through that training data. So what does that actually look like in the real world?
Right. What are the real-world consequences?
Yeah. Well, more and more, AI systems are making decisions that have a huge impact on people's lives. Things like hiring, loans, even criminal justice sentencing. And if those systems are biased, it can lead to unfair outcomes. Discrimination.
That's a scary thought.
It is. And it's not a theoretical concern. This bias can have serious consequences for individuals and for society as a whole. So what can we do about it? Well, that's where AI literacy comes in.
Okay.
By understanding how AI works and how that bias can creep in, we can start asking the right questions. We can demand transparency and accountability from those who are developing and using AI systems.
So it's about being informed and engaged citizens pushing for a responsible AI development.
Exactly. AI literacy isn't just about individual skills. It's about building a better future for everyone. It really is about building a better future for everyone. AI literacy, it empowers us to not just understand the tech, but to really think critically about its impact on our lives, on society.
Yeah, it sounds like AI literacy is about more than just like technical skills. It's about responsibility, ethics, and having a say in how AI shapes our world.
You nailed it. And that responsibility, it starts with understanding the potential problems, right? Like we've talked about bias, but there's also the issue of privacy.
Oh, right, privacy.
AI systems, they often rely on tons and tons of data. So we have to make sure that data is being collected, stored, and used responsibly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
AI can be awesome for analyzing data, finding patterns, but we've got to be careful about potential misuse, especially when it comes to sensitive information.
100%. It's not just about protecting our own individual privacy. It's also about safeguarding against, potential discrimination or surveillance. AI literacy, it gives us the tools to ask those tough questions. Who has access to this data? How are they using it? What are the safeguards to prevent misuse?
It sounds like a tricky balance to strike, using the power of AI while also protecting individual rights and making sure data is handled ethically.
It is. It's a real balancing act. And that's why having open discussions about this stuff is so important. We need to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values, that it actually benefits everyone.
So the material you sent over, it mentions transparency and accountability as being super important for ethical AI development. Can you talk more about why those are so crucial?
Sure. So transparency basically means being upfront about how these AI systems work. What data are they using? How are they making decisions?
Okay.
And then accountability means making sure there are ways to address any problems that come up. Like if there are harms or biases, how do we deal with that?
So it's like lifting the hood on AI, making sure the decision-making process is clear and understandable, and that someone's responsible if things go wrong.
Exactly. If AI systems are just operating in this black box, it's tough to spot and fix problems. Transparency and accountability help to build trust and make sure AI is being used responsibly.
It really seems like AI literacy is not just about understanding AI, it's about advocating for responsible AI development and use.
It absolutely is. It gives us the power to be part of the conversation, to demand that transparency and accountability from the people developing and using these systems, and ultimately to help shape a future where AI is used ethically and benefits everybody.
So where do we go from here? What can our listeners do to, further develop their AI literacy, to be more informed, more engaged in this AI-driven world?
Well, first and foremost, stay curious.
Yeah.
There's a ton of great resources out there, online, offline. Courses, articles, books, even podcasts, all sorts of stuff that can help you learn more about AI.
Don't be afraid to explore those resources. See different points of view. Talk about AI with your friends, family, colleagues.
Exactly. AI literacy is a journey, not a destination.
I like that.
And the more we learn, the better prepared we'll be to navigate this crazy, exciting world of AI.
And it's important to remember, AI literacy isn't just about the technical stuff. It's about critical thinking, ethical awareness, and being willing to have these important conversations about what role AI plays in our lives and our society. It's about creating a future where AI helps us all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into AI literacy, it's clear that we're at a really important moment. AI is getting more powerful, more widespread, and it's on us to make sure it's used responsibly, ethically.
Totally agree. We spent a lot of time talking about the what-ifs and the potential downsides of AI. But let's flip the script for a minute.
Okay.
How is AI being used to actually solve problems, make a positive impact in the real world?
That's a great point. It's not all doom and gloom. AI is already tackling some of those big challenges we face, from healthcare to climate change.
One area that really jumped out in the material you sent is healthcare. It seems like AI is revolutionizing the way diseases are diagnosed and treated.
Yeah, definitely. AI-powered diagnostic tools, they're helping doctors detect diseases like cancer earlier and more accurately. Imagine algorithms that can analyze medical images and spot subtle patterns that even a trained eye might miss.
So it's like having this super-powered medical detective working alongside doctors, helping them make faster, more accurate diagnoses.
Exactly. And it's not just about diagnosis. AI is also being used to create personalized treatment plans, tailoring those therapies to each patient based on their genes, their lifestyle, all that.
So moving towards a future of precision medicine.
Exactly. Treatments that are truly customized to the individual's needs. This could totally change healthcare, leading to more effective treatments, fewer side effects, better outcomes for patients.
Incredible. But AI's impact goes way beyond healthcare, right?
For sure.
The stuff you sent over also mentioned AI's role in tackling climate change. So how's that working?
Well, AI is being used in a bunch of different ways, from optimizing energy use in buildings and cities to developing new materials that can actually capture carbon from the atmosphere.
So using AI to make our infrastructure more efficient, more sustainable.
Right. AI can help us shrink our carbon footprint and, lessen the effects of climate change by making smarter choices about how we design things, build things, run our cities and industries.
It sounds like AI can be a powerful tool for, environmental stewardship.
It definitely can be. Think about it. AI can help us monitor deforestation, track endangered species, even predict extreme weather events. It gives us the data we need to protect our planet, to create a more sustainable future.
That's pretty amazing. But with all these advancements, it's important to keep in mind that AI, at the end of the day, is a tool.
Definitely.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
100% agree. That's where AI literacy comes in. By understanding what AI can do and where its limits are, we can help make sure it's used ethically, responsibly, to benefit both people and the planet.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI literacy, I think it's clear that this is just the start of the conversation. AI is a field that's constantly evolving, with the potential to reshape our world in so many ways.
But the future of AI, it's not set in stone. It's up to all of us to shape that future. By embracing AI literacy, by having these important discussions, by pushing for responsible AI development and use.
It's been an amazing journey exploring this topic with you. It really has. And I hope our listeners feel empowered to keep learning, keep exploring, keep engaging with the world of AI. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.